The Fast and Furious franchise has come a long way from its humble beginnings as a car-focused heist movie. In the last 20 years of Fast movies, the series has become so much more than just stealing CRT TVs and a modded Honda Civic. It's now a series about family, and of course, Car-Fu. How did this franchise go from street racing to launching sport cars into orbit? Crack open a cold Rona and strap in. We're counting down the top 10 most over-the-top moments in the Fast franchise.
Talking or we racing?
Number 10, drifting through a crowd from Tokyo Drift. This might not be as wild as some other events that take place later in the series, but it deserves a spot on the list for how recklessly Sean endangers a massive group of innocent civilians. The man doesn't even hesitate or slow down while approaching the crowd. Had they not moved out of the way, this maneuver would have resulted in some very abstract pavement art. It's reckless, it's dangerous, but damn is it cool.
Drift King.
Speaking of reckless, dangerous, and cool, number 9, racing a train from The Fast and the Furious. You may be thinking to yourself that this scene is a little too simple, especially in light of later Fast and Furious movies. That's because it is. However, it deserves a spot on this list for a couple of reasons. Because the first movie is couched in a certain sense of realism that later entries don't have, the stakes of this quarter-mile race are a lot higher. Brian and Dom aren't the Car-Fu masters that they later become, and so speeding towards an active train crossing is an incredibly dangerous stunt. The speeding train also creates a fantastic sense of tension, and as soon as that tension is seemingly released, both Dom and the audience are slapped by a semi-truck. Not to mention that this scene is a pivotal moment for both characters as they finally put their differences aside and learn to trust each other, like family. All around, this moment is full of great setup, payoff, and subversion of expectations, all 1/4 mile at a time. Number 8. Brian's boat jump from Too Fast, Too Furious. Can we give a shout out to all the conveniently placed and well-maintained ramps throughout the Fast and Furious world? Brian is a man of action, but clearly he doesn't think through the potential consequences of those actions. What if this stunt just sank the boat on impact? Then what, Brian? Or if the car had crushed Monica upon landing? At least Roman is the voice of reason here. Number 7. Submarine Ice Chase from The Fate of the Furious. Hey, remember when this series was about street racing and heists? Well, good riddance, because this bonkers sequence would have never taken place had the franchise stuck to its roots. This scene makes the boat jump we just saw look like driving Miss Daisy. A nuclear submarine chases La Familia across an iced-over body of water, but the submarine is no match for Dom's Car-Fu techniques. He does a little Tokyo drift to dodge the heat-seeking missiles on his tail before redirecting it right back at the sub. At this point in the series, the team are full-on superheroes as they brace a massive explosion and leave with just a little bit of dust on their shoulders. Super heroics aside, this set piece is pretty refreshing and unlike anything else in the franchise so far. Number 6, blasting out of the nose of a plane from Fast and Furious 6. First off, this whole runway sequence from F6 is one of the best action scenes of the 2010s, hands down. There's a constant forward motion and steady escalation that makes for an action scene that just never gets old. It all culminates in Dom blasting through the nose of the plane just as it all blows up. Yeah, it makes no sense, and it's the longest runway in the world. I swear, this thing never ends. But at this point, the series has firmly transcended the rules of the real world. Part of what makes this scene so great is that Justin Lin insisted on shooting as much as possible on set and at full speed. That high-octane pace on the tarmac creates a ton of in-camera energy. The airplane itself actually consists of 3 separate set pieces. One for the plane's undercarriage, one for the ramp at the back of the plane, and another for the burning wreckage. That includes the nose of the plane that Dom bursts through. You heard that right. That is a real car exploding out of the nose of a plane in camera. Justin Lin just gets the Fast franchise. Number 5. Airplane Freefall from Furious 7. They didn't just drop their cars out of a flying airplane. That would be dangerous. Naturally, the family took all precautions and also strapped parachutes to the back of their cars. Naturally. There's no denying that this is over the top, but if you followed the series to this point, it seems like the most obvious way to up the ante yet again. And that's the beautiful thing about these movies. They're always asking, what can we do bigger and better? The production team once again dedicated themselves to getting as much as they could through practical stunts and went ahead and dropped these cars from 12,000 feet before releasing the parachutes at 5,000 feet. This sequence could have easily been done on a soundstage with some post-production magic, but instead they had cameramen chasing these cars in mid-free fall FREEFALL. Sure, it's not realistic, but it's a killer stunt. That's why I call it CARKOUR. Number 4, Canyon Jump from Fast 5. What's an action movie franchise without an action sequence on a train? Indiana Jones did it, Mission Impossible did it, Bond did it. You bet your gas tank Fast and Furious did it, and made it as over the top as possible. And what's an action sequence on a moving train without a badass dismount? Just as Brian is about to bite the side of a bridge, his good pal Dom pulls up along the train for Brian to hop onto. They're not in the clear yet as the Corvette they're on launches off a canyon and into a quarry. I especially love how all the sound drops out of the mix as the two free fall towards the water. That lack of sound made my stomach drop when I saw this on the big screen. This is easily my personal favorite teamwork moment out of the entire franchise. Talk about bonding with the bros. Number 3, Safes in Tow from Fast 5. Here's another personal favorite for me. In a way, this feels like the Fast franchise going back to its heist roots and turning it up to 11. They're not just getting away with the bag, they're getting away with a 100,000 pound vault swinging around behind them. The vault adds a great dimension to the chase as it's both used as a weapon and as a hindrance. It makes for repeated moments of tension and payoff throughout the scene as the vault either slows them down or stops their pursuers. Plus, it's another great instance of Brian-Dom teamwork, as they're both attached to the safe and have to coordinate with it on the fly. And they do it all without scratching that gorgeous matte black paint. Yeah, it's ridiculous, it's impossible, and that's exactly why it's my personal favorite Fast franchise action sequence. Although it might be my personal favorite, it's still not quite as over the top as number 2, Dom's Dangerous Dive from Fast and Furious 6. Hey, Dom's Dangerous Dive would be a great name for a car-themed dive bar. Anyways, this is just beautifully over the top. Every Fast and Furious fan gave a triumphant shout when they first saw this moment. What a catch! But it definitely leaves me with some questions. When exactly in the series did Dom become Superman? Because at one point this man used to bleed like the rest of us. I'm pretty sure the car he landed on took more damage than he did. This is just proof of the power of family. Or maybe that giant cross he wears imbues him with super strength. Fast and Furious was always a little over the top, but this is the moment where the franchise went full pop art surrealism, and the world of cinema is a better place for it. Before we get to number 1, let's touch on some honorable mentions, because this series has so much material to go off of. Brian's cliffhanger bus top parkour from Furious 7 needs a mention, if only so I can call it CARKOUR. Dom's helicopter jump from Furious 7 narrowly missed the cut, but we see you, Super Dom. Also, the tanker explosion dodge from Fast and Furious 4 deserves a shout out. Finally, driving under a semi-truck for the Fast and the Furious would have been on this list because it is a downright dangerous stunt for any stunt driver to pull off. Unfortunately, Griswold did it better. And the number 1 most over-the-top moment from the Fast and the Furious franchise so far goes to the Abu Dhabi Parkour maneuver from Furious 7. Now that's a sequence deserving the moniker of CARKOUR. This car is literally jumping from building to building. Brian said it best. Cars don't fly! Except, of course, in this series of movies. Dom and Brian dive skyscraper through skyscraper while trashing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of property, and they manage to get out of it all unscathed. This is the type of extravagance that us Fast fans have learned to love about this series, and it's yet to be topped. In terms of stunts, Fast and Furious is always going the extra mile. Or should I say, the extra quarter mile. I don't know how F9 is gonna top it, but I've got no doubt that they will. What do you want to see out of the next Fast and Furious movie? What's your favorite Fast and Furious moment so far? Let us know down below.